so I'm still working on my second cup of coffee and it's 9:07. You guys, I do this every day. I wake up like at 6:30, start my coffee, drink coffee well into like noon-ish, and then I start my water intake. I'm just now starting breakfast. I haven't eaten anything yet. I am making oatmeal today because it is leg day and I like to have a little more carbs than I would usually have on leg day since I work out so hard on leg day. So making some oats. The whole family will be eating the same breakfast. I've got some delicious chopped fresh dates. I'm gonna be adding a little vanilla extract, coconut oil, cinnamon, chia seeds, and flax seeds. And I will top the boys with some local raw honey. This is an old coffee grinder. It still works excellently. We just replaced it with a better one. And so since flax seeds are oily, I cannot use my flour mill to grind them up. So I use this coffee mill. I've already added the cinnamon and the vanilla while it's cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and add some coconut oil and almond butter. New bag, ran out of the other one after so long. And the noise you hear in the background is my honey wheat bread mixing. The boys have bread regularly, and so I love to have fresh bread on hand every day for their lunches and snacks, and bedtime snacks too. So I know that everybody's food philosophy is different. Mine is pack as much nutrition into every meal as possible. That's my effort here. I've got my whole grains. I've got raw local honey, not just store-bought honey that's been highly processed. I've got organic flax seeds. I've got organic chia seeds. I've got delicious organic dates. I like the organic almond butter for some protein, as well as some organic extra virgin coconut oil for some good fats, cinnamon for flavor, as well as the vanilla extract for flavor. And I feel like it's a very balanced, complete breakfast. I am gonna add a little splash of heavy cream for a little extra fat and even more creaminess. I'm all about high fat, you guys. It's been about 2 years that I tried the high fat, low carb approach to eating. Why does it keep getting blurry? And it is my favorite way I've ever eaten. So even though I'm having carbs this breakfast, like I said, it's leg day, and so I know I'm gonna need the extra push, the extra energy. And with no carbs, you don't really build as much muscle as you would with some carbs. So on leg days, I like to be a little more flexible with my carbs. I don't count them. I don't keep track and rigid calculations or anything. I am very free with my eating. If I'm hungry, I eat. That's my philosophy with food. Feed your body, but feed it good stuff so that it can thrive. And I also think that both ends are bad. If you are eat whatever you want, then you're going to hurt your body. And then if you feel guilty and beat yourself up when you eat something indulgent or that's unhealthy, then that's bad too. There has to be a healthy balance with food. Food is a very emotional thing. We eat it when we need comfort and when we need to feel better about when we stress, right? That's where lines like I'm eating my feelings, or I eat when I'm stressed, or all those scenes in chick flicks where they break up and the girl goes home and eats a pint of ice cream by herself, or a gallon of ice cream by herself, and just putting whipped cream in her mouth. Those are things that we see in our culture where you feel down or like you need to be comforted in some way, and you turn to food, and that's not okay, because we should be turning to the Lord in those cases, not to food. Is it wrong to find comfort in food? Not in and of itself, no, but when we check our hearts, if we are depending on food as our source of comfort, then that is where the line has crossed, and we must fix that in our hearts and minds and turn to the Lord first for comfort. Food is comforting. Food is delicious and is wonderful, and I think we should enjoy it because it is a blessing from God. And so we need to turn the praises and the thankfulness to God, not to food. I've done it, you guys. I remember vividly this one time where my kids were little toddlers, the really easy years, right? And I came into my kitchen and I stood in that corner right there, and I grabbed an Oreo and I went, and I realized at that moment, I just worshiped this Oreo, you know? I was finding my peace and my comfort and my release in this Oreo. And that's a funny story. I don't necessarily think I was sinning, but if that was a pattern in my life where I was always turning to food instead of God for comfort, I would think it's something that needs to be addressed. Then the other end, feeling guilty when you eat and feeling like you have to look a certain way, comparing yourself to others, not letting yourself enjoy food as the blessing that it is, that's wrong too. That is wrong too. That can lead to all sorts of bad problems, body image issues, all of those things. What we need to do is remember we are created in God's image. We need to embrace the person and the body that God has given us. We need to take care of the body that God has given us with eating the good foods that God has given us. And we need to thank God for food being so diverse and delicious. He gave us taste buds to enjoy it. So not to deprive ourselves of the delicious blessings of food, but instead be thankful for it, especially if you have food. There's so many that don't. There's so many that can't afford to eat a variety of food. And so there are so many blessings that we're missing out on acknowledging and praising God for when we're fixated on a certain body image or condemning ourselves with guilt unnecessarily, or not realizing that all good things come from God, and food is a good thing, and so we need to thank God for it and not deprive ourselves or put rigid rules on what we should and shouldn't eat. I definitely don't eat sugar every day. I think that's why I don't have much of a sweet tooth, and I definitely don't have unhealthy stuff every day, but I definitely cheat on my diet and have some good, fun, junky stuff from time to time, and I don't feel guilty about it because I know that the norm is good and healthy and well balanced, and then the exception to the norm is just fun and free, and I want some fries, you know? So you've got to find that balance and enjoy food because it is good. I got this raw heavy cream from the farmer's market this weekend. Just adding a little splash. The boys want it too. And breakfast is ready. I also think food is a family affair. I like to stop everything and sit down at the table as a family for every meal and even for snacks. I am not a fan of having any screens or interruptions with phone calls or anything like that at the table. If we have a conversation that leaves us wanting or needing information about something in particular that we want to look up online, we will not do it at the table. We'll do it later. It's a place to come together and enjoy one another and talk and get to know each other deeper. We read a lot over meals. Breakfast is always the Bible. Lunch is always something for school. Today it will be history. Even though we're on summer break, we're still reading some history. And dinners is usually more conversation than reading. But Daddy's usually with us for every meal. You guys know he's self-employed, but the gym opened back up today after 9 weeks of quarantine, like I shared earlier, and so he headed out to the gym. So we're gonna get back into that kind of schedule. So I've gotta have breakfast ready earlier. So I am still making bread for the kids. The sun is just coming out. We are going to sit and eat together and read together and just enjoy each other. I know it's insane, but I still have my coffee. So when I'm done with this, I will start water, but I'm still gonna drink this coffee for now. I will give the boys kombucha and water to drink, and I'll have my kombucha later. Those carbs are coming in handy right about now. Ow, I don't know I'll be able to walk tomorrow. Okay, I totally destroyed myself working out. I am beat. I am making a quick salad for Hector, which will be the same thing I feed myself and the boys in about an hour, but he's out the door to work, so I'm gonna get it going for him. I'll be using fresh local tomatoes, a little bit of organic arugula, some alfalfa sprouts, some local red leaf lettuce, as well as local romaine lettuce. I got this all at the market yesterday. So love the farmer's market. Oh my goodness. Haha. And then as a meat, I will be using some leftover steaks that we had last night for dinner. I would boil him an egg and slice it up in there if I had more time, but he is gonna be out. And then I'll shred some raw Monterey Jack cheese, and he's not a fan of my famous dressing, so I have blue cheese for him. He says it's too sweet, but I will still drizzle like a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil over his salad, and then I will top it off with some pumpkin seeds and sesame seeds, and that will be most of his lunch. Then I'm gonna give him a little serving of some organic whole milk yogurt for some more probiotics. He already had his kombucha, so this will be the same thing I eat. I'll show you the finished product. I'm done with my first bottle of water for the day. I'm just gonna refill it, and then I'm gonna get my serving of kombucha. The reason I drink kombucha is for its health properties. It is a natural probiotic. I have a video series on how to make it at home. It's so easy and it tastes delicious, so the kids drink it every day. For medicinal purposes, you only need about a quarter cup a day, and so that's what I always do. I don't really ever drink a full cup just for the enjoyment of the flavor. I enjoy it, but it is too sweet for me. Also very fortunate to have a husband who's a coffee roaster, because we have all these awesome gadgets like our tap for our cold brew, our nitro cold brew. We have cold brew always available, and so we have kombucha with a CO2 line back here, a little spigot, and I get carbonated cool kombucha. So this is what it looks like, extra fizzy and delicious, and that's about a 1/4 cup, and I'll drink this as my probiotic for the day, as well as my yogurt at lunch, and then I'll continue with my water intake. So just to add to some of the info I was sharing earlier about my food philosophy and packing as much goodness as possible into each dish, I will add to that I think it's really important to get the best quality food you're able to afford. I do not want to say go get everything organic. I do not want to say go get everything local, but whatever you are able to find local or organic, please go for that versus the commercial big huge grocery stores. Sometimes you'd be very surprised to find how affordable local produce is. It can be more affordable than the grocery store. I probably spent 20 bucks on all the produce that I bought yesterday, or the day before yesterday, at the farmer's market, and it's so fresh and so beautiful, and it'll be there again next week, so I can just shop every Saturday. I love this time of year for that reason. I also encourage you to grow your own veggies if you're able to. And find a farmer for your meat. We buy all of our beef, all of our chicken and pork from a farmer, as well as our eggs and our milk. We have been shopping that way for about 10 years now, maybe 11, and they are loyal to us because we've been longtime customers. And so even during this time of meat shortage and food shortage, we know that we're taken care of because we've been loyal to these farmers for so long. They've got food we're going to be supplied for. So it's really nice to develop those kinds of relationships, and of course to support your local farmers. This is our new puppy. His name is Jax, and he is chewing on the strap of the camera. He's a cutie. It's like having a baby in the house again. We'll make it. So just wanted to throw that in there because I showed you our salad, and pretty much most of all of that was either from our meat farmer or the local produce from the market, or homemade, or really good quality organic products that I buy in bulk just to have a good supply. And so all of my seeds, my nuts, my oats, my rice, my wheat berries that I mill myself for bread, the milk, the eggs, the meat, veggies, as much as I can find local or really good quality organic in bulk, that's what I go for. And then of course there's things here and there that I have no choice but to buy at the grocery store. But whatever you're able to do, no pressure, do not break the bank trying to achieve that. Just do what you can. And honestly, if you can't do any of that at all, then just focus on whole foods versus processed foods. I think that's another part of my eating philosophy. As long as it's, okay, I need his toy because he's gonna chew my hand off. Whole foods, whole foods, whole foods. I cannot say that enough. If there was only one thing I could tell anybody that wanted to improve their diet, it would be don't eat anything processed and don't eat sugar. Okay, I'm making my lunch now but now I'm hungry. Sort of. I'm not really that hungry yet. It's been so long since we ate breakfast, but it was so rich in protein and healthy fats that I feel still very satisfied. So I've got my red leaf lettuce, my romaine, and my alfalfa sprouts in my salad. So far, I'm going to sprinkle some pumpkin seeds, like I did for Hector, and some sesame seeds, and I'm gonna cut up some cheese and steak and tomato. And I actually didn't have eggs today, as you guys saw. I usually have eggs for breakfast, but since I didn't, I boiled an egg, and I'm going to slice this over the top of my salad. And I am going to have my salad dressing, the one I mentioned before. I have a video on it, but it's really, really easy. It's literally equal parts of extra virgin olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and local raw honey. And then you just shake it up. Sometimes I add chia seeds to it. Sometimes I just leave it plain like this. So I am going to use this dressing, but pretty much eating the same thing as my hubs, and I'm going to eat a little, like a quarter cup of some whole, let's see, it's organic Greek yogurt. Yeah, so plain organic Greek yogurt, Stonyfield. I love this brand. I don't usually get the Greek yogurt, but they had it available, so I went for it this time around. So I'm gonna have some lunch and then continue on my water. I'm halfway through my second bottle for the day and I feel like really good. So that fresh spread I was making this morning, you know, the one that was mixing in the background the whole time I was talking to you guys about my breakfast, that has been ready. It just came out of the oven, and I'm making sandwiches for the boys with some raw Monterey Jack cheese, some organic ham. We never have deli but slices or deli meat in the house, so it is definitely a treat when we do, and it goes very fast when we do because it's not common at all. But my mom brought some home yesterday, so I'm making them sandwiches with lettuce, cheese, ham, and then they've got a handful of pistachios and pumpkin seeds and craisins and cashews and almonds and hazelnuts. So a little mixed nuts trail mix blend for them on the side. They're also having some yogurt, so that is their lunch. I also wanted to mention this weekend we ate, not unhealthy, but I made this chocolate pudding just to bless my family, and I had some and it was yummy. I had some on Saturday and I felt fine, but maybe yesterday my mom brought home this really nice like 12 grain bread from Publix, and I had some. And then I also had pudding shortly after, like for dessert from that meal. And I had such a sugar crash. It was awful. I don't feel like that pretty much ever anymore. So it was very uncomfortable, very unpleasant. I just felt rotten for like an hour and a half. So I just took it easy till I felt better. Then I got this kick of energy later in the evening because my blood sugar regulated. So I woke up feeling kind of blah, and so I'm not a fan of fasting. I like to eat. Thanks, buddy. So I'm not really a fan of fasting. By the time I got up at 6:30, drank my coffee for 3 hours and made breakfast, I already felt much better, but I did wake up feeling kind of crummy, and I know it had to do with feeling bad yesterday from our food. We also had this awesome steak, and I think I ate too much of it in one sitting yesterday, so that probably contributed to not feeling very well. My digestion was probably messed with. So now I feel great, and so I just wanted to say, whenever I have like a bad weekend where I overdo it or I eat unhealthy and I wake up feeling pretty bad, I'm not a fan of fasting, at least not the whole day. Maybe breakfast, maybe just the first few hours of the day, but I definitely like, why is this, there we go. So maybe breakfast and maybe the first few hours of the day, but not like the whole day. I am a fan of giving your body nutrients, and when you give your body good nutrients, you help it do what it's supposed to be doing. Not eating is not what your body needs. What you need to do is give your body fuel, and so I'm all about fueling your body, fueling your body. The only supplement I take in my entire life really is Juice Plus. I've been selling Juice Plus for 6 years, maybe 7, and I love it. I've been on it for that long. My kids are on it, my whole family's on it. It is a really easy way to get a lot of fruits, vegetables, and dark berries in just capsule form. The fruits, veggies, and dark berries are literally picked when they're ripest. They're dehydrated at low temperature so that it doesn't kill all of the nutrients until they're a powder form, and then they're capsulized, and you just pop them, 2 from each bottle, 2 green, 2 red, 2 purple. amazing antioxidants. I've noticed so many benefits the 7 years I've been on them, from hair not falling out in the shower to these bumps I had in the back of my arms gone forever, which I later found out was some form of autoimmune deficiency. My nails, my skin, there's so many things that I've gotten benefits from Virtues Plus, and not to mention just bouncing back from sickness a lot faster. I always double and triple up when I'm sick, and I feel like we stay healthier longer. Like, we don't really get sick very often, which is such a blessing. So that's the only supplement I take. Everything else is food. I just am such a believer in the power of whole foods, food that God made for the bodies that God made. So gonna eat my amazing salad, steak and cheese and alfalfa and egg and seeds and lots of greens, and I'm gonna top it with my dressing, and then for dessert I'll have a 1/4 cup of my yogurt. And I know I said I don't measure food. I don't. The reason I'm saying I'm having a 1/4 cup of my yogurt is because yogurt's expensive, and I have to monitor the quantities we eat so that it lasts as long as possible in our home. So it has nothing to do with anything except being frugal and making it stretch as long as possible. I'm sitting outside. It is like the most beautiful, perfect temperature ever. My kids are riding bike with their friends, and I'm eating. We're building some raised beds this weekend, and I've got my rosemary here and parsley here from last year, but I planted some basil, thyme, and oregano, and I'll be transplanting all of this into the raised beds once they sprout. But the big plants I'll probably move right away. And then I bought some starter plants this weekend at the farmer's market. We've got some zucchini, tomatoes, eggplant, and several lettuces, and then some lemon peppers. So I'm excited about that, and I'll be starting a few things from seed as well. Ivan has wanted to do carrots for years, so we're gonna start some multicolored carrots this year for him. And Joelle was really excited to try to grow our own peas, and I always do pole beans. They're just so easy. I haven't had a garden in a couple of years, but I'm ready to get back into it. Well, lunch is over. I'm gonna head to a friend's house for a couple of hours and take my water with me and continue to drink throughout our visit, and then I'll be home to make some dinner. I'll show you what we eat. It's like 3:40. I'm on my 3rd water. I don't count this, I'm just counting it for the video. I just fill it when it's empty, and I just sip on it throughout the day. So it'll be interesting to see how many I actually go through on a typical day. I've pulled out some leftover food that I have. I've got this partially eaten chicken and some rice leftovers from 2 nights ago, and then I still have some steak and sausage left over from last night, and I'm also gonna make some meatballs with my ground beef and some vegetables. So we'll eat like some leftovers, some new food for tonight. That way there's enough food for everyone to get full, and maybe more leftovers tomorrow, we'll see. But I'm not really hungry for a snack right now, so I'm just doing some housework, cleaning the bathrooms, folding laundry, and drinking water, and listening to a biography on YouTube. I totally just made popcorn as part of my boys' afternoon snack and ate like, I don't know how many handfuls already, 4 or 5. I'm totally gonna eat like a handful of coconut just because it's good for me and delicious, and I will wait until I'm hungry to start dinner. It's already like 4:15, so it's a good time for popcorn and coconut, right? So this will probably be what the boys eat. Some leftover rice and chicken. I already deboned the chicken. I'm gonna get it warmed up a little. I'm gonna add a little oil, and I'm gonna make veggies on the side. I've got meatballs going for anybody who wants them, and the leftovers will definitely be for lunch tomorrow. In the oven, I've got the leftover sausage and steak from last night, and I'm sure me and my husband will really enjoy that. I'm gonna add some onions to these meatballs. And I'll probably do zucchini as the side vegetable. I actually really like making a lot of protein or meat so that there's leftovers, because it's easy to just grab some veggies and use leftover meat versus making a whole meal every day for lunch. So there'll be plenty of leftover meatballs tomorrow. I'll be glad about that. I'm going to saute these with the onions. They'll start smelling so good in a minute. I made them real big on purpose. I season them with salt and pepper, a little bit of cumin, a little bit of oregano, and a little bit of curry. I decided on zucchini, so I'm gonna make 2 whole local organic farm fresh zucchini. And I was very torn between zucchini and this gorgeous chard that I also got at the market. I will save this for tomorrow. Maybe this will be sauteed with the meatballs in tomorrow's lunch. If the only thing I had left was that rice and chicken, what I would do is add vegetables to it. That's what I usually do. Rice and chicken from the night before, I'll add spinach and egg and broccoli and anything else that works. And it's so delicious. I also contemplated making a soup tonight because I have a fresh bowl of bone broth, but that's something else I might be able to do tomorrow, is make some bone broth, add the meatballs to that, and then add this chard to that, let it get all wilty in there, and it'll be a delicious brothy lunch. It's kind of chilly, even though it's sunny and beautiful and spring. Today was on the low 70s, so when the breeze blows and you're not in the sun, it's a little chilly. So I regretted my outfit a few times today. I really like cooking a lot of food because I want my boys to be full far into the night. And yeah, we do bedtime snacks, but I want them to be very satisfied with their dinner. So for the zucchini, I'm gonna put a little bit of butter, grass-fed organic butter, and the zucchini into a pan, and I'll season it with salt and pepper and a little garlic powder and saute it till it's nice and tender but not too soft. I like a little crunch to my zucchini. All that delicious fat and grease, I keep it all because I think high fat is good, especially with locally raised grass-fed beef. I don't feel bad about eating this at all. I will cook it a long time so that this will become, it'll not evaporate, but it'll become very caramelized with the onions, and it'll be like this delicious, toasty, wonderful meatball dish. And then I'll pair that with some zucchini, which is just now starting to get heated. And I'm gonna cover it, and then I'll probably have a little piece of steak from the oven as well. So I'll probably do a lot of zucchini, 1 or 2 meatballs, and a little bit of steak, and then I'll probably drizzle some more butter and olive oil on top of my vegetables on my plate, and that'll be it. All right, it looks like I made it. This is my 4th one, so anything after this tonight, or is it my 3rd one? I don't even remember. Either way, when I'm done with this, I'll fill it up again, and I'll be drinking water till bedtime. So I did pretty good with my water today, guys. It's not always the case. All right, so I've got a bunch of zucchini, extra butter, a little piece of steak from last night. I got 2 meatballs, and then I poured some of the delicious crispy caramelized onions over my meatballs. I'm so hungry, I can't wait to eat. It is 6:10. I feel super stuffed. That was so good. I think my favorite part of the entire meal was the crispy onions. They made the meatball to die for. I normally don't season my meatballs that way, but the cumin with those onions made them like the best. Sitting outside after dinner. Well, as far as food goes, today was pretty typical, but what wasn't typical is that we didn't eat any meals with Daddy. My husband's a realtor and he was a busy man today. He had a showing this evening at the office writing an offer, so he missed dinner as well. So I'll save him his plate for later. I cannot see myself eating much more today. That dinner was very filling and satisfying, delicious. I'm not hungry at all right now. I probably took a few more bites than I needed to because it was so good. I didn't want to stop. So I ate at 6:30. I think I usually go to bed by 11:30, and I bet that I will have something later, but I don't really know what. But right now I can't even think about food because I'm so satisfied. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, well, I was going to say that the obvious, I hope to most of you, that this is the way I eat, and that doesn't mean that it's the way to eat. I feel like we're all different. All of our bodies are different. All of our bodies respond differently to different foods, and so we want to pay attention to our bodies, pay attention to how you feel and what you see, how your body responds to different foods that you eat, and make sure that you are looking for the right lifestyle for yourself that suits you. This is just maybe some things to start thinking through for yourself, and they may not work well for you at all, and that's okay if they don't. So this is just one day. I have several videos of what I eat in a day in a playlist on my channel, so please check those out. Also, I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian, as much as I wish I could go back in time and go to school for that. I'm not, and I don't have all the answers. I don't know much. I just know a few things of some knowledge that I've accumulated through the years about food and nutrition. But like everything, there are various views. Even if I think this or think that, somebody may think the complete opposite about the same topic, because in the end, we all believe what we want to believe about the studies we read, and there's always studies on like every side, right? So that, and I actually would be so curious to know what a dietitian would say to my way of eating, but whatever. I feel comfortable with it. I love it. I feel better than I have ever felt these last 2 years eating this way, and I feel like I see great results with my exercising, and I feel very satisfied and full, and then I love the food I'm eating. It's also totally cut out my sugar cravings. I never want dessert. I just don't. And on the rare occasion that I do, I totally let myself have it because I rarely have it, so why not indulge when I desire to eat it, right? So that is a typical day eating with me. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.